What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Cook With Us. This location obviously is a little bit different because we are in Maui today. And we have a special guest chef, aka my brother, who's a way better cook than both of us. So this is a very special episode. We are making eggs Benedict this morning, which is Chris's favorite, with smoked salmon and Hollandaise. And Stef's gonna pretty much tell us what's going on here because we're just following along. So we'll jump into it. Starting with, instead of bread, we're doing sweet potato latkes. So we're just trying to figure out how exactly to grate up the sweet potato because normally we use a grater like this, but Mom has a fancy veggie bullet, so we're just trying to get that all grated up, and that's kind of the first step today.
Yeah,
let's catch some action of veggie bullet.
So essentially what we're doing is making sweet potato latkes. Usually latkes are made with potatoes, but we're going to use sweet potatoes instead. A little bit healthier, a little bit more colorful. These are a bit big, looks like grated cheese, so Mom's going to cut them into little smaller pieces. The key is to have them essentially so they form a little ball. You put them in a hot cast iron pan, and you can kind of sear them on both sides. So we're going to try and the hard part now is to try and get these to, when you make a little ball, to not fall apart. So we're going to cut them smaller, add a binder. We don't have flour, gluten-free flour, so we're going to use these little crackers and just fresh them up into like a little fine kind of powder, and then put them in, beat an egg, maybe two, and then add some more stuff. We're gonna grind up probably an onion, a jalapeno, a little bit of flavor, and then spice it up with some paprika, cayenne, salt, pepper, and hopefully these form. And then we'll sear them in a cast iron pan.
Yum.
So
this is as far as it goes for me today.
She's smashing up the crackers into a GF flour. Chris is still trying to turn this into a flour. It's coming slowly. And we added onion and jalapeno to this mixture, and we're gonna bake it in the oven to try to soften it a little bit. So while the latkes are baking for a little bit, we're gonna start Hollandaise, aka Stef is gonna start Hollandaise. So what are you
yeah,
doing?
we're just separating the yolks from the whites.
How many eggs?
We're gonna do, I would say like a typical batch, you'd use maybe 4 yolks for half a pound of butter. Like Hollandaise, we're gonna do a little bit more yolk, a little bit less butter. We're gonna use seven eggs to make the Hollandaise. So essentially we're just separating. Best way to separate, or the easiest way I find, is to just crack the egg in half and just kind of transfer the yolk back and forth and
All the white's gone.
all the white's gone, and then you can kind of put it
And he has 2 bowls here, one for the whites and one for the yolks, so you can separate them. Use the whites another time. Now we're gonna melt the butter for the Hollandaise. Just don't mind how much it is. We'll just not pay attention. How much butter is that? Like half a pound?
That's half a pound of butter, but
Are we gonna do a full pound?
No, we're gonna do half pound. These are quarter each,
Oh, okay.
but we're gonna do more yolk and less butter. So we're gonna do about
Right.
50% less than we ought to.
Get that all melted up.
Yes.
We are now zesting lemons for the Hollandaise. It smells so fresh. So fresh.
I'm just gonna season the lime a little bit. Izzy said there's already some jalapeno and onion.
Yeah, spicy.
We put this in the fridge for a second just to let it cool down so that the egg doesn't cook when you add it in here. So we're just gonna put a bit of salt. A little bit of salt, paprika, and pepper. Keeping it simple. So some paprika, and then this pepper shaker that will take 45 minutes. And then we'll add our 2 eggs. And Chris's absolute masterpiece.
Gonna bring the whole meal together.
And then we're gonna mix it up. Just turn on the cast iron pan, get that hot, and then these go in. Little shallow fry.
You have sweet potato on your forehead.
Thank you. Gonna crack a couple eggs in here.
2 eggs.
2 eggs. help bind it a little bit. I'm just gonna, you could pre-beat them. I'm just gonna do it in here with my hands. The funnest part of cooking is using your hands.
True that. We just added in Chris's mixture and Stef's just mixing them up, and then we're gonna make little latkes.
You can see kind of relative to the
They're starting to get
cheddar
squishy.
cheese mix at the start. It's a little bit, so when we, you know, when we form
Yeah,
this
now you
into
can
a
make them
ball.
into little balls and fry them into latkes.
Yeah. Okay, so all we're gonna do is take a little bit,
Like a spoonful.
like a spoonful,
Big spoon.
big spoon, put it in there. Just kind of flatten it. You don't want to make them too thick or else they won't cook through. And the thinner they are, and they'll get kind of nice and crispy.
Yeah, looks
So
good.
I like to use cast iron because it just gets really nice and hot and it stays hot. You can use whatever you want, but cast iron does a really good job with these. And then you kind of just want to leave it. Don't touch it. Let it get nice and crispy. If you try and flip it right now,
It'll probably break.
It's gonna fall apart on you.
Looks good.
So while we have the latkes going, we're gonna start poaching some eggs. If you add a little bit of vinegar, a couple tablespoons to your water, it's just gonna help keep the egg tight and congealed without kind of separating.
Right.
I like to make a little bit of a whirlpool because it kind of keeps it from sticking to the bottom. So just get the water moving a little bit.
This is my favorite part. Go little eggy.
You can kind of help it curl up a little bit. Make a little take present.
A gift from me to you.
I'll let those go for a few minutes and we'll test them.
How many minutes?
Depends on how hot your water is. I wouldn't go as much by the time, but it's probably a few minutes for sure. We'll show you how to kind of test for when they're done
Cool.
in a sec.
Good.
Okay, so we're just gonna check if the eggs are done. Right away, they look pretty soft. You can kind of pick it up and you can see the yolk just moving around.
Oh yeah,
And you can
so it
kinda
needs
just,
a bit longer.
I just usually touch the yolk, so that needs a little longer for me. I want it runny, but not too runny that it falls apart on you. So this one, kind of same thing. This one looks a little firmer, so maybe another minute on this one.
Cool.
That looks done to me.
A little firmer.
A little firmer.
And just put them on paper towel to dry them a bit because they're all wet. How long do you let them sit for?
Until your other stuff's done. These are kind of not a gating item to your. The last thing that'll happen is the Hollandaise, so we'll just let these sit until our stuff's done. Hopefully they stay warm, but Hollandaise will be warm for sure. We're just gonna prep these guys.
Yes, we've got 2 latkes all done here. Stef's putting smoked salmon on top to prep. And then we're gonna quickly make the hollandaise. Hollandaise. We have our 6 eggs, egg yolks only. And we zested 1 lemon. And now we're gonna add the butter. Okay, so he added the yolks to some heat.
Yeah, there's just create a little double boiler, so there's just a little bit of hot water in there. Just keeping it warm. We're gonna whisk this until it's about double the volume. We're almost there now. And then we're gonna start slowly adding the hot butter. So we'll slowly add this while we keep whisking. You don't want to add it too quickly or else it'll break the emulsification. Got a nice consistency with there, so we're gonna add, just season it really, a little bit of lime juice.
I think it's lemon.
Sorry, lemon. Without the seeds. Bit of salt. And we use salted butter, so we'll be careful how much salt we add, but I just keep tasting it.
Is it delicious?
Now we're gonna
Time to plate. So there's our 2 eggs that we poached. And the latkes with salmon.
So open that.
added a little bit of a dusting of cayenne on the top. Looks stunning. And that's pretty much it. And then we just repeat until we have enough for everybody. And sometimes we put green onion on the top, but we didn't have any today, so this will definitely do. Now it's time to eat. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss another cooking video. Thanks to our guest star.
Cheers.
Making something delish for us today. Hope this video is useful. If you have any questions, leave them below in the comments. Until next time.